It's on vinyl and vision.
Hey folks, thanks for tuning into the latest episode of Vinyl and Vision. Here we are with episode 62, and today is a very special episode. Today is hopefully the first in a number of installations of a collaborative series, if you will. Today, the host is Joyce Raskin. Now, you might remember Joyce from back in episode 50 of Vinyl and Vision, where I spoke with her about Fugazi's 13 Songs album. Now, Joyce has had previous podcast experience. She has been the host of her own podcast, the Red Jumpsuit Podcast, in the past, and she has since retired from that. And I thought, hey, that might be fun to have her come back as a host and do this show with someone of her choice. So she chose her former bandmate, Chick Graning, of the band Scarce. Now, Chick has gone on to release a solo record, and he's still working on music, and he has also been part of another band in the past called Anastasia Screamed. If you liked Anastasia Screamed or Scarce, I currently recommend that you get into his solo record, which is entitled MT. That's the letters MT. Back in 2005, he'd released this solo record, and it's great. You can kind of hear the previous influences. There's very much the Scarce vibe to some of the songs on this album. So this is a short one. It was an experiment, and I was pretty happy to have Joyce and Chick do the show today. I essentially just gave Joyce free rein and told her, this is your baby for the day. Do whatever you will. Do it how you want to do it. It's whatever you want it to be, really. So they tackled the album of Chick's choice, because he's the guest, of course. Cheap Trick's Live at Budacon. Amazing. Live at Budacon is heralded as one of the best live rock records in history. And I kind of have to agree with that. I mean, I've never been a big fan of the live records, but that record is awesome. And I've also never been a huge fan of Cheap Trick. I mean, I've known the hits, obviously, but yeah, it's a banger of a record, and it's pretty interesting to get two very, very good old-time friends and musicians to discuss that album. So what we ask here at Vinyl and Vision, folks, is that you please do all the things you do with the internet. Like, share, subscribe, comment, rate, review, whatever else you do, whatever else you want to do. By all means, it's all gravy for us. I hope you enjoy the show, and I'll turn it over to Joyce.
How you doing there, friend?
Oh, I'm okay.
Hanging in there?
Just hanging in here, yeah.
How's off the grid going for you?
Off the grid?
No, I'm just saying, you're like, you got the low profile now. Everybody's always like, how can I get in touch with Chick? How can I get I was like, he's not on the internet. What do you want from him?
I've got a phone number. Text me.
I was like, here's his phone number. Just give him a call. Welcome, Chick. We're it's nice to have you on this Vinyl and Vision. That's what it's called. Vinyl and Vision.
Vinyl and Vision, yes.
Vinyl and Vision. So I just wanted to start off first just to say, I'm really glad that you're still here. And I am too.
Oh. Yeah,
this is
true.
This is how every conversation starts with us, right, Chuck?
Yeah,
how are you doing?
Oh, I'm alive.
Alive. Things could be worse, right?
Yes.
Yeah, things can always be worse. So tell me about Knoxville. You're in the belly of the beast right now.
Well, I live in Bearden, the Bearden neighborhood. It reminds me of Brooklyn. I can walk everywhere. There's a couple of grocery stores, 4 bars.
Yeah.
There's an Asian food place right down this street. Barbecue.
Now, is that close to the downtown, like where we hung out, like near the college or whatever?
Really. No, it's a little further west.
Yeah. You've been down in that area for a while, right?
Yeah. I grew up here with my grandmother, basically. That's
where you grew up with your grandmother? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I gotta describe, Chick, you gotta describe your grandmother. Can you talk about your grandmother?
No.
Can I describe a little better?
Yeah, go ahead.
Meeting her, like, I think we must have been playing in Knoxville, right?
Yeah, we had a gig here.
And then we went and we got to see everybody. We got to meet everybody in Chick's family. We went to your grandmother's house and your aunt was there, right? Your cousins, like everybody was there.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
scared the crap out of me, this woman. She was tough. She was like 90 something, living in this like, rustic. She was off the grid, right?
Nana? No.
Nana.
No.
No? Pretty
No,
rustic
no.
out there. No? Okay, maybe I'm remembering wrong, but she was a tough cookie.
She was, but she was in a really fine house that my grandfather had bought back in the 30s. That's where she was.
You told me though that I'm trying to remember back in the day when we were hanging out there, that was she the one who gave you your first guitar?
She took me to lessons. Took me to all
She
my
did?
lessons.
Who gave
she
you your
did.
first guitar?
That was Boyd Simmons. That's one of my mom's boyfriends. He gave me my first.
That's right.
Yep.
What did he give you?
It was a little Chuck Berry guitar kind of knockoff, little hollow body electric guitar. It was red.
Ooh, that's really cool. How old were you?
9.
You were 9?
Yeah, 9. 8 or
Holy
9.
smokes. And did you take lessons right away or did you just do it?
Yeah, pretty much.
I didn't know you started at 9. Holy crap, buddy. You've been playing guitar for a long time.
No kidding.
But that's really cool. I didn't know that. See, there's still some things that you haven't divulged to me yet. I will get them all out of you, chick. Someday when we get you to write your book, we got to write a book about it, everything.
Right.
Chick, all the craziness of living in Knoxville. No, every time we go and hang out in Knoxville, you always like, so-and-so over here crashed, that crashed, just talking about all the crazy drunk driving that went on. Like all your friends died like at a young age. I'm like, it must have been insane growing up out there. I don't know, back then.
A little bit. Yeah. I had a
like
good time.
all these people, like I just remember flying on these roads. I was terrified. And you're just like, whatever. It's no big deal. This is how people drive down here.
It is. They're nuts.
God.
They're nutbags.
They are. And I don't like them politics, but
Nah.
you said right where you are, it's cool, right? You're in like a little safe zone. You have a female mayor.
Yeah.
Tell me that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Madeline Ruggiero. She's our mayor. She's a Democrat. But Glenn Jacobs, who was known as Kane, who was a WWE wrestler when he was Kane.
Right.
He's the mayor of Knox County, though.
And that's where they like screwed up those abortion clinics, right? Didn't they recently? Something went down.
I think so, yeah. That always happens around here.
I was worried it was near you. I was like, oh, shoot. Is that Knoxville? And then you were like, no, Knox County. There's a difference.
That's on the other side of the river.
The other side of the river. Ay, ay, ay. You know, it's funny. It's like, so James and I did an interview with him about the Fugazi record. And we're going to talk about Cheap Trick live at Budacon soon. Because that's what I really want to talk to you about. But just talking about how, remember in Rolling Stone, we got interviewed in Rolling Stone. And of course, it came out like 4 or 5 months after we broke up. It didn't come out. The article didn't come out. So it was like they released their debut. And then it's like, nope, they broke up.
Nope.
Nope.
I know.
Sorry. But in that article, and so many people would do this when they were interviewing us, they would fish for like, okay, you guys have to be sleeping together. Right. You guys have to have like, you know, it was like such a like big deal. And I'm thinking like, just because there was a male and a female in the band. Yeah. But at times it was kind of sexy on stage. Right. Yeah. So it's like, you know, we could have our cake and eat it too. You know, like you're putting on a show. And I feel like we put on a show that had chemistry between a male and a female.
Right.
And I guess there weren't that much of that out there, you know, but I can't tell you how many times people are like, you're not sleeping with. I'm like, no, we're just playing music together. But sometimes that kind of musical quality can
Uh-huh.
make it whatever. But I just, and then
Right.
of course I was misquoted because our check your running joke with me was like the whole thing was like, yeah, if you're not having sex, like after you see our show, then like you're not getting it, like this whole thing, like everybody should sleep with each other and da, 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 da. That's what our show's about. And we'd
Yeah.
always joke about that. And then they quoted me out of context. I was telling James, I'm like, oh man,
That's how they do it.
22-year-old girl says, I just want everybody to go home and have sex. I'm like,
Yep. I
awesome.
remember. Yeah,
You
that was the
can't joke
bold-
about that stuff. Do you
Yeah,
remember
that was
that?
the bold print. Yes, I'd already been over to England and done press, and I knew better than to fall into their traps.
I know. I'm like laughing. One other thing I want to, before we start talking about Budacon, I'm just remembering this, you and I doing this interview for MTV Europe.
Mhm.
Do you remember? And like, it was early on, I think the Scarce EP was out over
Mhm.
there and in Europe.
Yeah.
And yeah. And I just remember, and here I'm going to go like a brain. Oh yeah. So we had to get in the balloon. We had to get in a balloon. Do you remember
Uh-huh.
that? It was like a fake balloon outside. I think it was in Berlin.
Uh-huh.
Not what was that freaking Big Cat show? And
Oh,
like
yeah.
Pavement played and
That was in Cologne.
Cologne. Sorry,
Germany.
Cologne. Good memory check. Yeah, in Cologne, and they had everybody outside because it was like Big Cat was sort of like hip back then. They had Cop,
Yeah.
Shoot Cop, whatever, Shudder to Think, all these big bands, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we went back for our interview and we're like, nobody knows who the crap was. So we were like, whatever, we're just gonna have fun. And you and I were sitting there interviewing. The guy was German. And we just were like putting on the heavy like Southern accents and going like, we were in the circus once. And like we just made up all this stuff. And the guy was like, really? And we were like, nope, we're just 100% screwed with you as Americans. And he's like,
Yeah.
oh. And then the whole show, we were like talking with a Southern accent and the Germans were yelling back, oh. Do you
Yep,
remember?
I do. Oh yeah.
Anyways, where did you hear about Cheap Trick?
I was
Who turned you on to them?
I was when my mom took my sister to her horseback things, and I would just stay in the car because I wasn't going to go I just wasn't going to go in there. And so I just stay in the car and listen to the radio, and they came on one day. And I was like, whoa.
What song?
Ain't That a Shame?
Now that's Fats Domino. Who?
It was a cover of a Fats Domino song.
Right, that's what I thought. Fats
Yeah.
Domino. Interesting. On the radio. I'm assuming on the radio. You know,
Yes,
you're the first person to play Cheap Trick for me.
Yeah, good.
Is that yeah, good. Listen to you were the first person to play a lot of stuff for me because I was like so close-minded in my DC scene. I was like, no,
yes.
I don't listen to the radio. And like
I
you
know.
got me into like T-Rex and Cheap Trick and like I feel like the Stones and all these bands that I just missed as a childhood.
Well, yeah, you would if you're growing up in DC, because all that is
Yeah.
there is DC scene.
Yeah.
DC scene, you know?
And
It's
I
like-
didn't want to listen to the radio. I was like, fuck the radio. Whatever's on the radio sucks. But there was a lot of good stuff in the 70s I missed.
In the 70s, yeah, but you were too young in the 70s. You were at home with your speaking spell.
I was tiny, but I wasn't that tiny. I mean, you know, the 70s were a lot more loosey-goosey, right? How young
Yeah.
were you when you were on your own in the 70s? First
Oh.
time you like went somewhere by yourself. Young, right?
Yeah. I was probably hanging
Me
out with my
too.
cousin. We would hike all over here.
Go
You just
shooting.
hang
Did
out.
you do hunting? Any hunting?
No,
No
not
hunting.
much.
Not much.
Not
So
so-
let's talk about this awesome album that you chose because, you know, I get so excited about music.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just thinking like the first song on that, like all the songs on that are great,
Yeah,
but like
there's
I
Budacon
kind
2
of-
came out as well.
the what? Say that again?
Budacon 2 came out, and it's the rest of that show.
Oh, I don't know that. Cool. I got to check that out.
I got that back in the 90s. I got it.
Oh, you did? Oh, that was the second thing. Did you and I in the 90s, by the way, go and see Cheap Trick together in the Strand in Providence for like $3?
I think I remember seeing them. Yeah.
Didn't we go? I mean, like I have this vague memory I might have taken a boy with me. I don't know. But not saying a guy I was dating at the time. And then he left me after that too. He was like, no, I'm not into you. Sorry. Maybe I was too into Cheap Trick. But I think that was a $3 show in Providence. Cheap Trick played. Yeah. Wow. And they were insane. I'm pretty sure we went together. I know it's hard for me to remember those things. And that was like, that might have been in the period that blocked some of your memory, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've got most of my memory back since, but yeah, I think I remember Cheap Trick at the Strand.
Yeah, it was incredible. $3. Can you believe it? $3. Boy, has inflation. Everything costs too much now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's ridiculous.
At this point.
Anyways, that first song. What's the first song? I gotta get it. Hold on. I wrote down on my notes. What is it?
Hello there.
Hello there. Right. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. I just re-listened to that.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, James, can we pull up some of the tracks just to hear a snippet each time or not?
Absolutely.
All right, let's listen a little to Hello There because I had something I wanted to point out. Awesome. Thank you, James.
You're welcome.
Isn't this cool? James brings it up so we don't have to like imagine it in our heads. But that thing is like such an anthem, 1978. I'm like, oh my God. I like re-listening to it. I'm like, wow. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like, and I'm seeing where you definitely love Rick Nielsen. I can see it in your guitar playing sometimes.
Well, yeah, he's a rhythm guy, so am I.
Does he does the rhythm? I thought he did a lead. You do rhythm and lead.
He does lead. He's mainly a rhythm guy.
What's your favorite thing about Rick? What did you think was the coolest part about his guitar playing?
I just liked the aggression of it and the fact that he was kind of this goofy guy that didn't look like a rock star. It's pretty cool.
He's really sweet. I'm like, I was looking up all this stuff and I'm like, oh my God, they're like the nicest band in rock and roll or something. Mm-hmm. Like these guys are so humble and they just brought it on, they just bring it on stage.
Yeah, I met Robin Zander and Bunny Carlos up in New York at an after show that my ex had gotten me a ticket to and got me the ticket to go back and meet them. And I was too scared to talk to Rick because he walked by me and he was like huge and his eyes were bugging out of his head. And I was just like, nope. But I went and talked to Robin and Bunny.
Really?
Well, that was cool. Yeah.
Were they like chill, really down to earth?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Nice guys.
Oh, that's really cool, chick. I didn't know that. See? Something else I didn't know about you. And I feel like when you and I would go on stage, that was sort of our ethos of just like going out there and being like, bring a show. You got to bring a show. Yeah. Right? Yeah, and you got to bring it every time. Mm-hmm. Right? Just like come out there and bring it. Hey, I wanted to ask you too, before we listen to the next thing.
Okay.
Because I'm still trying to pick this out of you.
Okay.
Can you, you're like, did you know REM as well?
No.
I'm trying to remember. Lisa was right? Your manager.
Our old manager, she knew those guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just hopping around. I was trying to remember if you had played with them with Anastasia Scream.
No. Never played with those guys. Never once.
Who did Anastasia Scream get to open up for?
We did a tour opening for the Throwing Muses. That was fun.
And then Afghan Wigs?
And no, we played with them at a bunch of festivals and did a short bit of Germany with them.
Oh, you did? And that's how you met Greg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
1990.
Oh, God. Wow. Crazy. And you were crisscrossing paths probably with Nirvana Because they were just
Probably.
in the next shitty van next to you.
Pretty much, yeah. At that stage of the game, I never really met any of those guys.
Yeah. Well, they were a little more like the punk rock, right?
Well,
You
so
guys
were
were more into rock and roll. Well, you guys were punk rock, but
we were freak rock.
you were like,
Freak,
what?
freak rock.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Anastasia Screamed was. Freak rock.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. That album is so good. The with the cover, the flower. What is the one? I'm sorry. Tell us what
Laughing
album
Down
that.
the Limehouse, Joyce.
Laughing Down the Limehouse. If you have not heard that by Anastasia Scream, go check it out. It's really good.
The Moontime's better. It's a better record.
I like Moontime too. You're right. Actually, you're right.
Record.
All right. Second song on there is Come On, James. Is that right? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah. God damn, that's the second song. I can't believe it's so good.
Yeah, he's a good singer. that Robin Sanders is the whole reason I started singing. It's Robin Sanders.
Was he really handsome in person, as handsome as he looks?
Yeah.
He's a looker.
Guy.
He's
Yeah.
a good looking guy. Sweet too.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like a good guy. They're all
Yeah.
good guys. They're from like Illinois or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They're from where
I know.
Rockford.
But like from
They're from-
Podunk town, right? They're from like
Rockford, Illinois. Rockford.
Rockford. You been to
Rockford.
Rockford?
I have not been to Rockford.
I don't think I have either.
I don't know if there's much of a reason to go to Rockford.
Well, maybe there's a Cheap Trick Hall of Fame there.
There's a music store that Rick's parents had. I don't know if there's.
Really?
Mhm.
That's so cool. I can't imagine what it was like to be like a teenager listening to this. Because like you were of the age when this came out.
I was like a
What?
little kid. I was a little kid. I was like 9 when I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 or 10.
Yeah. And but I feel like it's such an urgent thing. Like it sounds so urgent, like a bunch of guys, like, just like teenage energy. I don't know. That's what I like as an adult 50-year-old woman. I'm listening back and thinking about this. I'm like, it's so much of that teenage hormones,
Yeah, it's just rock and roll, And Robin Sanders is just the world's best singer for rock and roll. I thought so. I used to think Freddie Mercury, but I like what Robin did. So,
what did you love? What was your favorite part of it? Just his range.
Yeah, the range, and it could get a little coarse sometimes.
Little scratch. You can do that too. You have that scratch, and then that you get higher than me.
Well, that's how I learned how to sing. I was singing along to Robin Zander when I was a kid, and that's literally how I learned how to sing.
I know you never took lessons or anything like that, but
No.
Nope, you just studied good old vinyl collection of rock and roll, right?
Mm-hmm. And then ear training when I went to college and I was in a music school. The ear training was really good.
Right, you went to Berkeley for a year, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then your parents wouldn't pay for it after a while or something?
No, my dad would send my mom the money, and she would usually send it she was supposed to send it to the school, and she just told me, I got home from school for Christmas, and she told me, oh, the money's just not there, but she actually took it.
Oh, God,
I could tell you about that now because she's dead, so it's like,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, dear. Yeah, what you did for your mother, though, I'm like, that always amazed me. Yet, despite her lack of motherly love, but you're mending the fences and taking care of the horses, taking care of the wolves,
taking care of the yard.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Rolling stuff. It's like, yeah, whatever.
And then I'm remembering, didn't you work on Jimmy Buffett's farm? Was that a running thing that you used to tell everybody in interviews? I'm just remembering this.
Yeah. I worked there I was there for about a year when I lived in Nashville.
Oh, when you were in Nashville, he lives there.
When I lived in Nashville, yeah.
Yeah. What was that like?
What was Nashville like?
No, Jimmy Buffett's farm.
Jimmy Buffett's farm?
Do you remember? I just
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I very rarely saw him. I just would see his wife would, like, they had 3 nannies for two or three kids, and the nannies would come and get the kids, and the wife would get in a limousine and go shopping all day. Yeah, that was what they did. It's
Oh
like,
my
okay,
God. Oh my God. You've had such interesting jobs, Chick.
right, yeah,
All right. That come on. Did it
yeah.
like make you be like, I'm gonna go out and get some chicks? Did it make you feel like you could do that? I know that's crazy. I don't know. I'm just thinking like if I
Not
were
a
a dude, I'd be like,
Yeah, I was a very
yeah.
young man when I first started listening to that record. So, I guess it made me think about my crushes.
Ah,
Come on.
crush.
You know,
Yeah.
I
Come
don't know.
on.
Come on, baby.
Who was your first crush? Do you remember who your first crush was?
Kim Carruth.
Was she same grade as you or older?
Yeah. She walked into kindergarten one day. First time I'd ever seen her. I was just like, fell in love.
I love that.
Well, you asked me my first crush. There it is.
And first love song you ever wrote?
I don't think I've written one.
Oh, you're funny. Okay. But come on. Let's see what comes on after that. I think I know what the next one is. Lookout. I can't believe they just recorded this. This is all one concert.
Yeah.
There were no screw ups in that concert.
I think they went and they overdid some guitars and stuff in the studio later on. But yeah,
they
drums,
did.
yeah.
Huh. I did not know that. That's very interesting.
Jeez.
I was just like thinking somebody must have screwed something up. That was always the worst, right? You get almost to the end of the song and somebody messes up, you got to do it again.
Well, usually the bass player, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Probably.
Some jazz tangent.
I didn't know that. That's so cool that they actually went in. But that place, like when they were describing going there, like their record was like massive before they ever got to Japan or whatever. Like everybody knew about them. So when they got there, it was like the Beatles stuff.
Yeah. Apparently it was. It would have been wild.
Yeah. I'm like, they said it was like nuts. They were like, wait, nobody knows who we are.
Right.
Like all of a sudden. Like, that must have been wild, right?
Can you imagine? Yeah.
I know. I'm like, we got so close to going there, Chuck.
I know.
You're supposed to go there, but you had your hemorrhage. But I'm like,
had an
you had that hemorrhage thing. God, I know.
Well, yeah.
You're supposed to do big day out and then go to something in some festival in Japan or play in Japan.
I think we're going to go tour in Japan. We're going to do big day out and then go tour in Japan. But nah.
So close. So close.
You're close.
Anyways, Japan, I heard they like when you go there, like, friends of ours have gone overseas and they're like, they get all these gifts and they like, they shower them with all this stuff, take you out to all these places and stuff. I'm like, sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Next life. How about the next one? Big Eyes.
Big Eyes.
Big Eyes. I was like, do you think that they're referencing that painter from the 60s? Probably not. But
Probably
do you remember Big Eyes? They made a movie about it. This woman painted. The woman painted giant eyes, like massive eyes on people. Like they look like cartoon creatures. You don't remember that?
No.
I'll have to send it to you. God, chick. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, there are these paintings that I love. Like Tracy Wilson, my friend Tracy Wilson, has a bunch of them. She owns them. They're like from the 60s and they're like super mod girls with like beautiful like 60s eyes that are like just a little larger so they look cuter. All right. Should we listen to Big Eyes? Wow. I mean, like, Jesus Christ, this album is insane.
Yeah, it is.
I keep saying it, but I'm like, wow, that was like for a while, I'm like listening to that riff is like Nirvana almost. Like Nirvana took I don't know.
Nirvana's more like Cheap Trick.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's amazing, like what you can hear in that. It's like their influence of like, definitely they I know Rick Nielsen, right? He liked punk. He was into what was punk as well at the
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah, punk and Beatles. That's kind of what Cheap Trick was to me. They're kind of like a punk Beatles, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of punk
That
Beatles.
riff is crazy. What does he do? Is he playing like octave? Does he play a 12 string? Does
Yeah.
Rick Nielsen? He
plays all
does.
that stuff. Yeah.
He's playing like octaves or something in there. Or was that him and Robin doing that together?
Yeah,
They're
he's
like,
just playing an octave thing.
"Dang."
No, I can admit that was just Rick himself playing the octave things.
It's cool. You do that. You did a little bit of that, right? A little
bit.
octave with the
Yes,
slide, right?
I've been known to use an octave or two.
Okay, this is what I've never seen anybody do this, Chick, except Chris Whitley. And I'm just going to give a little shout out to RIP Chris Whitley. We miss you.
Yep.
Playing lead and rhythm at the same time. It's kind of like being able to pick with your, like you're doing rhythm and lead at the same time.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you did it.
I don't know.
It's cool. How do you do it?
I don't know. It just happens. I don't know.
But what did you learn to do that? Like how did you learn to do that?
Who knows?
You just messed around.
Figured it out, I guess. It's like.
Did you figure out the slide on your own too?
Hector. My
right.
My original teacher Hector was a slide guy, so that's when I started. I just got curious about it. I thought, I could use this too.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember. I'm going to try to describe to you, but it is something where I've seen you do where you're like, you're playing, you let it ring out, and then you're going, you've got strings and chords within those chords, whatever. Okay, let's call it a day there. I'm just telling you what I saw from my side of the stage.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But it is incredible, Chuck. I mean, I have seen so few people who play guitar like you. And in fact, I'm like, a lot of people told me they won't cover Sideways because they're like, I don't understand that tuning at all.
No.
And I was thinking, you wrote a few different songs, like you wrote a lot of different tunings. You had a lot of weird tunings.
Yeah, I used to
tunings.
Throw it into weird tunings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool. Anyways, it made it sound different. Yeah. And RIP, we love Chris Whitley. If you have never listened to Chris Whitley, definitely go check him out.
Yep.
He is a special person who passed away too young. Anyways, all right. What's the next? The next one is Need Your Love.
I need your love. Yeah, it's a slow one.
It's a slow one.
Yeah. Kind of just comes along and crushes you slowly.
See, the guitar in there was doing that stuff.
Okay, it's just slide riff.
Just like, yeah, but it's doing it all. He's doing it all.
Yeah.
So I guess Rick Nielsen does it too.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you know? What do you know? Damn, that's another good song. I mean, like, God, that must have been amazing to see them in this Budacon show, right? Like, I feel like you put on the record. I don't know if you still do this, but I still do this. Like, I like opening vinyl records. And what I love about James's show is he actually puts out vinyl, and vinyl is final, as we know. And it's just so cool to sit and listen to music and just open the album and sit there and stare at the thing. Like, I'm just thinking, we had no entertainment, but we had our imaginations. And I feel like with all the technology and stuff, sometimes it's just good to go back to your imagination. And just like sit there and be bored and have something and pay attention to something for once, like everybody's got ADD now. And it's like,
yeah, I know.
nothing better than sitting and like looking at an album cover, right? It's like,
it's
and
kind
just
of
thinking about the music and the meditative. Exactly.
Right. Kind of like that.
Anyways, I still do it. I'm old fashioned. I still call people on the phone. I guess I'm old fashioned.
Yes, you are.
But damn, that guy, when I listened to that, I was like, some records, some music can turn you on.
Uh-huh.
You and I talk about this all the time. It's like sometimes it's that you're in that moment of being like, damn, like I just fall in love with this music and this band just because it puts you in that same feeling of being with somebody that like has had a crush on you or something or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Us weird musicians just want to like bathe in that glory 24 hours a day if we could, and if the world would let us, right?
Yeah, of course.
All right, let's listen to this first song you heard by Cheap Trick. Ain't That a Shame? Whoa! That Bunny Carlos is so good, man.
Yeah, he is.
God, I mean, like panache, right? He's got panache up there, like those little rolls, like whatever he's doing in that beginning. It's like
nobody else really plays like him. He's one of my favorite ever.
And he's like, I love how he's such a regular looking guy.
Well, when I met him backstage at that Cheap Trick show, I said, man, I think you're the best living rock drummer we have. And he said, why? That's a very high compliment indeed. Thank you very much. He was exactly Bunny Carlos. So it was perfect. He actually adjusting his time. I thank you very much.
Oh, really?
My flattery indeed. God. Okay.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bunny Carlos.
I love that. Bunny Carlos, man. So good. But they're like, once again, it's that band. Like, I see a lot of music, and I know you see a lot of music too at the bar, right? There's people play there all the time, right?
Yeah.
And, so few bands. Like, you go and see shows, like there's a lot of artists now. And I think maybe it's because of COVID, maybe it's because of the internet, who knows? Yeah. But like, Matt and I were always talking about that.
The other night, Joe Buck Yourself played at my bar. We became fast friends.
Really?
He took me back into the green room. It's like smoking me up and stuff. We were just hanging out. It's like,
nice.
Oh, Buck, all right. Yeah, nice guy.
That's cool. Who else? There was somebody else when you were living in Brooklyn. I feel like two people that you met, just kind of. One, you was a bar you played at up by the Verrazano Narrows or something. Remember? You were living in Bay Ridge.
Yeah, when I was in Bay Ridge. When Levon Helm was at my show?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, Levon Helm.
Yeah, it was at Three Jolly Pigeons up in Bay Ridge. And I was just playing this, dinky little show. And the guy who'd booked me there, he ran up to me. And right before I saw, he said, hey, you see that guy out there? I was like, oh, yeah. He said, that's Levon Helm. And then I forgot my first song. I was like, okay. I blah, 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 blah. And it took me a minute to recover, and then I finally did.
And did you talk to him afterwards? Did you guys hang out?
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, that's who it was. I got to tell Matt, it's Levon Helms. I knew it was from the band, but I couldn't remember. And he's the coolest guy from the band. I mean, drummer, singer, man, he was incredible.
Drummer, singer, yeah, he's great. And he was just he had cancer at that time, and he was in Brooklyn to score some dope. I know who he got it from. Yeah, I know exactly who he got it from. Why he was in Bay Ridge. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, you know that guy too? I know that guy.
Yeah, he was getting it from Tommy and Kelly. I know. I used to get it from my ex-wife from them. I was like, okay, yeah.
Tommy and Kelly. This is Levon Helms. Let's help him out.
No kidding, right?
Actually, I have to say that we've done that for a few bands up here. Matt and I have, like, now that pot's legal, I can say this, but we brought them when they've been on the road. We went to go see them. We gave them some pot. We're like, here, you probably have trouble bringing, like when they come from overseas,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
They always remember you if you bring them a treat, right?
That's true. I always remember.
On some.
You remember people when they bring us treats.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do. I remember. I don't think I wrote about this in the book, but I remember you and I in Amsterdam, and somebody made us some pot, not brownies, they were donuts.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah,
that?
that was
And we-
because it was
and-
the gray matter. We got it. It was
yes,
out at Lillestrasse because Stephen and Stephen from Providence were running the place. They'd move over
that's right.
with Victor, and they were running this place. So that's where we got it.
That's right. And they gave us so many of them. And I
Mhm.
remember they're like, just have a little bit.
Yeah.
It's very hard. And we toured with Shudder to Think. That was the Shudder to Think tour. And we were sharing the bus. And I remember sitting in the front seats of the tour bus.
Yeah,
It was like you and me and Craig and Nathan, maybe.
Yeah,
right. And we were had too much space cake. And we were just watching the sunrise over the Alps. We're all like, wow.
Yeah, they're on the Autobahn. Yeah, speeding along
and then the worst thing was those donuts were so tasty too that you were like, I'm just gonna have a donut, and you're like, don't have a donut. You'll never. You were tripping for like 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, just a bite, just a bite.
Ah, good times. Anyways, we had to share that for a second. Okay, the next song is, I don't know, I'm tied between this song and Surrender is my favorite. But I Want You to Want Me is pretty
great song.
Like, I wish I had written this song.
Mm-hmm.
I could have written one song in my life that was good.
Mm-hmm.
I would have written this.
Yeah, but the
Just
one
kidding.
But
I can't write a song for her.
You can, yes, you can. But the version they put out on the album in color, their studio version is, it's kind of dinky. But this live version it kicks butt.
Let's hear it. Do not, do not, do not. I love that. So good. Oh my God. Like, I wish I had a boyfriend like when I was like 14 or 15 sang me a song like that. I would have freaking been in love with them forever.
I bet.
Right? Like, can you imagine like who he wrote that for? I wonder who Robin Zander, if you're listening, I wonder who you wrote that for. But actually maybe Rick wrote it.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably wrote it for his wife.
Yeah, he's been married. He seems like, well, he is the nut. He's nutty in there, right? He's the one with all the hyper energy, right?
Well, yeah, but
and
he's a regular family guy, I've heard. And
yeah,
up in Illinois, just a regular dude. Sure he is.
Next song is the first song on our new album. Right?
Surrender.
I feel like
yes.
I feel like when I heard that originally, it was probably the Beastie Boys sampling it before you showed me. Isn't that like was. Didn't know the reference until I met you, chick.
Right. Well, sorry.
But it's such a great, like, iconic saying, right? Everybody knows it, but they don't know necessarily where it comes from, right?
Well, no. Yeah, of course. People who were born after the 70s definitely wouldn't know.
Exactly. There's a lot of stuff that I feel like is probably like these references that, like, if you think about them, like, in the time they had a certain meaning and now taken out of context, it's like getting a new kind of meaning, kind of, you know?
Sure. Like everything.
I don't know. Yeah. It's kind of interesting.
It's the way it works, right?
Totally. The internet. The internet.
The internet, yes.
The internet scares me, I got to say. The internet's, there's a lot of bad people on the internet doing bad stuff. Right?
Yes, I'm not on the internet directly myself too much.
You're very smart. I feel like you're doing like my dad. My dad worked for the government, you know, for like 30 years.
Yeah.
And he wasn't allowed to talk about anything like that. He doesn't like the internet either.
I bet.
He doesn't trust. He has like this security program on this machine that the government gave him. And I'm like, Dad, they have come up with much better ways of protecting you.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Sam. How's he doing?
Sam. He's doing great. We're writing a book about his life.
Oh, neat.
That's
he's interesting.
Yes.
Wow.
Very interesting. And it's really cool because the NSA and the FBI had to redact stuff from the manuscript.
I'm
And
sure.
then when they gave him his computer back, they came to his house and they scrubbed it clean and said, you cannot have anything on this machine. It has to be on this disk, and you can only insert it in there when you're ready to work. It was like this crazy thing. So it's going to be really cool because it's got all these redactions in there. Like certain countries are redacted. And
of course.
Yeah. Anyways, it's going to be
top secret
cool.
stuff.
Oh, Sam. Yes. So that's what my family project is right now. I'm working on it. My mom's editing. My dad is doing the writing, and I'm putting it all together.
You're doing a book about your dad about stuff he can't talk about.
No, he can talk about some of it now.
Oh, some of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there are still some things from his like the 60s and stuff that he's not allowed to talk about. Even though some of it's public knowledge, but the NSA and the FBI were like, no, we don't want people knowing about that. Well, when he worked for the government, and then we'll get off this tangent, but they used to call NSA no such agency. They didn't want anybody to know they existed.
Right. That sounds about right. Secret Service, right?
Secret, yes. Anyways, there are no more secrets anymore. We've lost it all. All right, let's listen to Surrender. Should we listen to Surrender? I love this song. Sure. That song is so epic. So
yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
Did I tell you too? This was really cool. I saw something with Rick Nielsen talking about this song, and he said that like he made Robin Zander sing it higher than he was comfortable with because he wanted it to sound really aggressive.
Yeah, sounds like.
And I'm like, it's so cool though. Like I don't know. I always think that stuff is interesting, and because it sounds so urgent.
Yeah.
And like,
Robin Zander kicking butt.
He is kicking butt on that song, but really, and then I thought it was really cute. I guess Rick is what I read about him, he sounds like such a nice, normal guy in rock and roll, which we know is such the rarity. But that his parents, he was very honest with his parents, and he's like, I'm going out and doing this and that. And the line, don't give yourself away, is actually his father used to say that to him all the time. Don't give yourself away. And I always think of it as, the teenage girl, don't give yourself away.
Right. Yeah.
I just love stuff like that.
Works for anybody. Just don't give yourself away. Okay. It's good advice.
It is good advice. I don't know. I just like that juxtaposition. It's like, it's always interesting to me what songwriters say about their songs, because it isn't sometimes like you're obtuse, like you're an Elliott Smith, or you're like Kurt Cobain, and they'll just deny any meaning to it at all because they wanted to be obscure and abstruse, and
I guess, yeah,
right, or whatever. But like that, there is this idea of like how they approached a song or thought about a song. And I'm just thinking what it means to different people when they're hearing it, and how when you hear what the songwriter has to say, sometimes it changes that opinion of whatever you've envisioned, but sometimes it doesn't. Like in this kind of song, I feel like there's so many ways to think about it, and so many different people, like points of view, being female or male, listening to that.
Right. Yeah. You can take it and do anything you want to with it, really. Yeah,
it's great song. And I'm just thinking all those Japanese girls were just like losing their minds.
Yeah.
And Japanese boys, I guess, too. But I'm assuming the screaming, there were a lot of girls there. It was the 70s.
It sounds like a lot of women, yes.
It sounds like a lot of women.
Ladies, yes.
Or high-pitched males, maybe.
Maybe. High-pitched males. Maybe that's the name for your next band. Boys.
That's my high-pitched male.
High-pitched males.
That's good. I like that. Oh my God. Okay, we have a few more. Let's listen. There's only 2 more song tracks on this album.
Yeah, it's not very long.
Can I just say, what a good afternoon to be doing on a Sunday. Just talking about a great record with a good friend, man.
Yeah.
It's been fun. It's the best thing I've done all year. The year is young now.
That's because you're looking at me, Joyce.
Oh, push, get off your fine self. Okay, let's do Good Night Now. Is that kind of the same song as Hello There, or am I like wrong about that?
No, that's the same song. Yes.
Okay, it's good enough though to do two versions of it. That's cool.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing they did.
Oh, it's such a good way though. Like it's like the opening and the closing of the record and the opening of the closing of the set.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
It is. I'm just realizing this because I haven't listened to this in a while. This is fun.
Yeah, I don't remember a song after that one though. I think that was the last one, right?
No, there is one more. Let's hear the encore. That's a good
it's
song.
been a long time since I listened to the record. Wow.
See?
It's been a while.
It's fun to go down these lanes, right? Like it's like a little jog on a Sunday afternoon. Like now I feel like I kind of want to like now just go sit by myself and listen to this album like over and over a couple times. It's like a journey.
It's a great record.
It is. Good choice, Chick.
Well, yeah. I wore a copy out when I was a kid. I just killed that piece of vinyl. I played it so often.
I know, and they're still touring and they're still playing, right? They still play shows.
Yeah.
And they're old.
Yeah, they
God
are.
bless them. You know what? It's like that's the thing about music. It does make you feel young, you know, like when you're playing it or listening to it.
It makes you feel a little younger, maybe.
Or a little younger. But I don't know, for me, it makes me just like go to that place where like time doesn't exist, right? Like age doesn't exist. None of that exists if you're enjoying it, if you're actually sitting there in the space, right? And you're interacting with it.
Actually listening to it, yeah. That's fun.
It is fun. I don't know. I still get a kick. I mean, I've been doing so much painting lately. Well, this was fun, Chick. Did you have a good day today? Did you have fun chatting about that?
Yeah, I did. It was good to talk to you, Joyce.
Yeah. So some cool things on the horizon, possibly for Scarce. We're hoping that. I mean, it sounds like this guy might be releasing some vinyl. Yeah,
that'd be great.
Out in the UK, we're waiting right now. That's still in talks and stuff, but. This guy found us through the internets and tracked us down. And
yeah, you told me about that. So
kind of cool, right?
That is kind of cool. But we don't have a drummer anymore, do we? Did we lose our fifth drummer?
James knows the drummer you're talking about because he's on a band on James's record label. Joe's playing in a kick butt band. They're awesome with Dan St. Jakes as the lead singer. You remember Dan?
Yeah, cool.
They're really good though. They're a really, really incredible band. Cool. Yeah.
What are they called?
And now I'm like spacing right now. How can I not remember Hammer Party?
I knew you were going to.
You did that to me, didn't you, Chick?
Yes.
Hammer Party. The Hammer Party, and they're really good. Actually, you would like them. They're incredible, and James put them out on his record label.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
I'll send you a copy.
Yeah.
Chick.
Oh, please. Yeah, it'd be brilliant.
Yeah. And another cool thing that if anybody wants to know, that Chick's solo record that he did after Scarce, which is such an incredible record, Chick, MT. You should go. You can buy it from this. I feel like it's on Bandcamp, isn't it? It's on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'll get the information, James, and we can post it. Yeah. Check that beautiful cover that I did for you, sir.
It is beautiful, Joyce. Thank you.
Yeah, it's one of my gold girls on there. But yeah, that was really cool that guy put that out, and he'd seen us at Roskilde in Denmark, right?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah. So you plan any shows? You said you were doing some acoustic shows or anything?
Yeah, I played about a month and a half ago at a little club here.
Cool.
Got a really nice reception too. People were in.
Nice.
I couldn't believe I could remember any of my songs. When I try to practice them here at home, I can't even remember them, but I don't know. I guess I remembered them.
Good. What are you playing? The Martin? Are you playing a Martin?
Yeah, the D28, sure. Yeah, my weapon
How's
of
it-
choice.
How's your weapon doing? She doing
Uh,
good?
It's fine. Need to put some lighter strings on it so it'll be easier to play.
Yeah. Well, my friend, it is always good to chat with you, and fingers
Yes,
crossed we'll have some new old music out in 2022 for people to buy. We shall see, but
that'd be great.
you rock, buddy. It's good to talk to
Nah.
you.
You're the one that rocks.
Oh, get off yourself. It's lovely to chat with you.
Lovely, Joyce, as always.